Hello and welcome to the Barcast. I'm your host, Nick Barr, coming to you on a Monday morning. Today we're going to do something a little different. I have a launch of a new course coming up called the Influential PM, and I need to coordinate a bunch of different efforts to get that launch ready. And so I thought this would be a good time for me to model launch planning. I get to talk to a bunch of founders and PM leaders and other folks who are planning for launch. And oftentimes they're a little bit scattered or disorganized in their thinking in terms of launch planning. So I'm going to see if I can put something together that both helps me, but also shows my thinking in terms of how I structure this. I'm going to work just in Sheets, but obviously Notion or your own preferred project management tool is fine. And how do I want to do this? So let's try this first. So typically there's sort of product and marketing, or marcoms, if you want to call it marcom. But this is the classic sort of 50-50 split of your effort. I'm going to add admin because I know there's a lot of admin things I need to do. And so rather than working horizontally, i.e. like as we get further to the right, we're further down, I'm going to work vertically and work in checklists. So, I mean, at some point we're going to actually like, what are the launch checkpoints? One is like cohort 1 begins. So I'm working backwards from that. Before that, I need to like make public announcement. So that might be like LinkedIn, might be like email blast. I'll probably put these into Marcom, but I'm just trying to define for myself what this means. Like, and then this is sort of like make soft. So soft announcement, public announcement, cohort 1 begins. I think that's pretty good. I'm not going to put dates next to this yet, but I'd like to. In my head, I have June 1st for cohort 1 beginning, but even as I look at that's 2 weeks from now. That's not enough time. So we'll see. We'll see what we can get done. So I do need to re-record all the videos. And I think I can do that. Here. So I actually don't have it. I mean, it's just a course and I've already done rough drafts of the course. I don't need to do a ton more on the course itself. In fact, because this is a course, the one thing that's a little funky about this as an exercise, it's just there's not that much product. So a lot of the product maybe is marketing. I've got to kind of figure out how I want to divide that. It doesn't really matter. I just want to be helpful. That was not good. This is Kind mini bar that I found in my pocket. It was very smushed. Okay. All right, let's just crank. So I feel like that's starting to get pretty close to the soft announcement. I mean, conceptually, I need a really good landing page that I've iterated on from design perspective. I need to be clear and final about price and cohort, like the structure of it. I'd like to get 1 or 2 testimonials. One person has completed the course, so I could get her testimonial, and I alternately I could just have someone say like, I like working with Nick, he's a good PM. Then I need to write people saying like, hey, I'm soft launching this thing. I don't even need, one question in the back of my head is, do I really need sort of the soft announcement versus the public announcement? Dry run of payment, dry run of confirmation email. That's pretty good. I mean, I guess there's a go, no go. Like if nobody signs up, then there's no cohort. If 2 people sign up, I have to figure out if there's a cohort. If 100 people sign up, I have to figure out if there's like a wait list. So I need something there. So let's just do like decide if there's a wait list. Maybe this is all just sort of, I'm just adding stuff because I want to make sure I'm considering everything with the cohort structure. So I do all that. And let's say it's May 20th and I do the soft announcement. People are slowly signing up. I need to then at some point launch. I mean, let's say I did it today and then cohort 1 begins June 1st. So really, a public announcement is maybe not necessary. It's just maybe just sort of gradations of Marcom. So maybe there's just sort of like, let's just put it in and see what this looks like. It's not a lot of time in a lot of ways. It's not a lot of time for me to do all this stuff. And it's also not a lot of time for people to sign up for a cohort that begins in 10 days. However, if I do the wait list, if I do the waitlist piece of this, then they say, oh, June 1st is too soon, but I am interested. Sign me up for the next one. Let's look at Maven quickly, how they do this. So I don't think that's like a bad idea. Because I'm also not so married to the cohort that like if a lot of people sign up, then I can follow up with them individually. There's a lot of things I can do. And as long as I have one cohort in, even if it's like 5 people, that's a pretty good start. I'll take a 5-person cohort for sure. It's 5 testimonials, it's feedback. I mean, Nadia was great, but that was just one pilot person. So then what is this ramp up? I mean, this is just like changes as needed, right? Like post more. I guess this is like momentum. So this is like LinkedIn. So the Influential PM course, I mean the podcast is a big piece of this for sure. And I need to define this stuff because I don't want to waste people's time. So if I'm going to reach out to ask them, I might also say, and by the way, I'm going to have a podcast. Would you like to join for a conversation? June 1st is it's too soon. June 15th? Feels better. So let's call this, roughly done. I'm going to revisit it, but I certainly have a lot of things to get done now in the next 2 weeks. And just popping back out to reflection here, I think the reason why this vertical approach works better for me is because, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's trivial to flip this thing around. But when you work horizontally, you're tempted to have like Gantt charts. You're tempted to have like not complex, but just like streams of work. We're so used to that model. And you end up getting a level of detail and granularity that you might not actually want. Whereas like working down, it's launch driven, it's checkpoint driven, it's moment driven. So we just have every row represents a slice. It's like a slice. I think that's what I like about this. This feels more like slices of your launch. And should be really easy to read. You can put little check marks when you're done. So I guess it's just super simple. And I'd encourage you to start simple if you can and work your way down into fuller and fuller launch slices and use vertical columns to segment out the key work streams, making sure that you're giving proper due to marketing and admin. By admin, I mean like back in the product days, a lot of stuff was around like getting the App Store binary submitted, right? Like the App Store is infamously tricky and fickle. So we would be thinking a lot about the admin that's needed to get into the App Store so that when we launch, we're completely de-risked on having the binary, having the app already approved. Things like that. And obviously, if you have a bigger company, customer support or PR, if you want to split out PR and marketing, could be fine. This is a little course, so this size worked fine for me. Okay, hope that was a little bit helpful. I don't think there's any need to share a template or anything, is there? I mean, this is not rocket science. Good luck.